This is the Nothing Phone 1. It was all the hype last year. And in my hand is the Nothing Phone 2, which is going to be all the hype this year. I don't know, question mark. But in this video, we're going to talk about what's new in the Nothing Phone 2 and what all has changed from the Nothing Phone 1. So let's quickly get into it. At the outset, the Nothing Phone 2 is going to be slightly more expensive, and we'll have links to the current prices as well as places to buy the phone in the description below. The pre-orders for the Nothing Phone 2 have already been sold out. No numbers were disclosed, but I'm assuming it was a great amount, and the company seems to be very happy about it. The unboxing experience is similar to last year, and you have two colors this time around. You can choose between a gray and a white, and I like the gray a lot better than the white this year around. Last year, I liked the white better than the black. There's a lot of subtle changes in the design itself, and the phone looks a lot more polished and a lot more premium in the hand, and it also feels a lot more premium thanks to the curved glass on the back of the phone. Again, you still have Corning Gorilla Glass, so you still have that protection, and you have an IP54 rating as well. The frame is much more slimmer, and it looks better on this device, and that adds to the overall look and feel. Cases haven't been announced yet, and I'm sure third parties will jump to the occasion, but nothing from nothing so far. Because of the curved nature of the back glass, the back actually looks a lot more like glass versus last year, which looked a lot like acrylic but was actually glass. So you get a more premium look overall with the Nothing Phone 2 because of that. The back also has a new glyph interface. While it looks the same, it has many more LEDs, and it has been broken down into 11 groups this time around with 33 LEDs between them. There's a persistent notification light that can be customized and set for certain actions or certain apps or certain notifications, and that light will stay on until you sort of dismiss that notification. You also have a new interactive light which will sort of show you your volume levels and also show you the status of your Uber ride or your Zomato food order to show you how far your Uber is or how far your food order is. Will sort of demonstrate here, almost like live actions on an iPhone. You do get a new glyph composer which allows you to customize and create your own ringtones, and then you also do get a whole new set of sounds for the Nothing Phone 2. It also shows a countdown timer, which visualizes it, and it counts down. So the lights dim down as your timer is sort of ending, and then you can have an alarm. All of this can be set through the new glyph interface settings in the settings panel, although I would have liked a faster way to turn on the timer, but right now it sits in the settings panel. Speaking of the settings panel, everything here as far as the operating system is concerned is on Android 13, but you have Nothing OS 2.0, which is slightly different from what we saw last year with newer design icons, better widgets, and a lot more customizations on the home screen. You can add apps into groups, give them icons, and you can have several group options within the homepage itself, giving you a very unique homepage layout. And Nothing calls this Nothing OS 2, and the overall layout is called monochrome, which I kind of like. So whether you choose a dark theme or a light theme, it replaces all the icons with these monochrome icons that look really good on the Nothing Phone 2. I personally like this a lot, but you do have an option of choosing the standard Android launcher when you start up the phone. The display is also different this time around with a 6.7-inch LTPO display. It has a peak brightness of 1600 nits with 1000 nits of outdoor visibility, which is excellent for a phone of this value. Multimedia playback is good, and the phone will play back HDR content from your streaming applications because it has the proper certifications in place. The speaker cavities are also larger than what we had in the Nothing Phone 1. All of these things, again, we will test out and give you proper results in the full review of the device. Then you also have the punch hole camera, which has been moved to the center and is now a 32 megapixel camera with 4K capability with 30 FPS. On the back are dual 50 megapixel cameras. The primary camera will do 4K video at 60 frames per second. The secondary camera is an ultra wide camera which also does macro and has a minimum focus distance of 4 centimeters. The primary camera has OIS as well as EIS, so you can get some really smooth video as well as sharp photos if you have shaky hands like I do. The camera also has some improvements in the night mode, and we're going to put that to the test for the full review as well. Coming back to the Nothing OS, you do also this time get an always on display, and the display has a refresh rate going all the way from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. So if you turn on the always on display, It will dip down to 1 hertz, which will save battery life. It's also much more efficient way to manage the always on display. And then you can also customize your widgets for the lock screen that also show on the always on display, and you can interact with them. So you have this new glyph torch. So basically, if you long press on the torch icon, you get the glyph lights to turn on that you can have in the lock screen and quickly access that as well. Now, running everything is a Qualcomm Snapdragon Series 8 Gen 1. I'm not sure what everyone thinks about this chipset, but it's a big improvement from what we had last year, and hence the price jump that we expect this year as well. We have 3 variants, 8GB with 128GB, which I will not recommend to anyone if you have a lot of pictures and videos on your phone. You also have 12GB plus 256GB of storage, which I think is going to be the more popular one. And then you also have 12GB of RAM with 512GB of storage, which I think is only going to be enthusiast level. And I don't see a lot of these getting sold out. But those 3 options are really good options, and then you have a wide choice to pick from because the phone doesn't have micro SD card expandability, so you want to pick the more storage right out of the gate. You do have dual SIM capabilities, and the SIM tray sits on the bottom of the phone and is a nano SIM tray and accepts 2 SIM cards. The phone too has a 4700 mAh battery, and you can use the same charger from last year if you bought it to charge up the device to up to 45 watts of fast charging. Should charge in about 55 minutes. You also get 15 watts of wireless charging through the wireless coil that you see on the back of the phone. And that same wireless coil will allow you to reverse charge your wireless earphones that do have wireless charging at up to 5 watts. So you can use your Nothing Ear 2s and sort of charge them on the Nothing Phone 2, and everything can be 2 together. Also in the box was the famed transparent cable, which Nothing is really excited about. Although I found a similar cable from Amazon, which also has an LED light and looks almost the same and is also braided. I'm not too sure if I find the Nothing Phone's cable very special, but it's transparent and it's slightly better quality than we saw last year. And we'll test it long term and see how it fares out in everyday use. No cases have been announced for the device yet, and we'll see lots of options available on both Amazon as well as Flipkart, and we'll link some below if we find any. Otherwise, you can go look for them in markets, I guess. I'm not too sure because Nothing is not interested in making cases right now. Overall, I feel this phone is a big refinement, and our full review will be coming out in a couple of days. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. What are your thoughts on the Nothing Phone 2? Let us know in the comments below. If you have any questions or queries, do drop them because we'd like to cover that in our full review for you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.